Hello, Richardson ISD. Today, I'm with Monica Simonds, our Director of Advanced Learning Programs and Services. Thank you, Monica, for joining me and sharing with our RISD parents the work we're doing to ensure we're meeting the needs of our gifted and talented students in Richardson ISD. Monica, can you please share with me just a little bit about yourself and your role in the district?
Absolutely. So I have been in education for more than 30 years. I've spent 20 years in RISD, 20 years in the classroom, and the last 10 years in this position. And my role in the district really is to help us to honor that all means all, in particular students who are high ability learners, whether they've qualified for gifted services or not, to ensure that they can meet their potential.
So Monica, I know that your strategic action team, you had a great one, worked for over a year to bring forward a recommendation to the school board and to me about some changes to our GT service model. So can you briefly highlight for our community those changes, and if you believe we will need to change the model because we're starting the year virtually?
Absolutely, I would love to share that. One of my favorite topics. The Texas State Plan for the Education of Gifted and Talented Students is the guiding document from TEA that specifies what districts and campuses must do to be in compliance with the education and administrative codes. It was in the process of being updated at the same time that we were working on the strategic plan. And so using the components of each of these documents, we analyzed our service model and realized it had been in place for about 30 years. And it did not meet the standards that had been set forth by the state plan and the most current research. And that was required for us to honor this strategic plan. So using the input from the community and parents and students and the equity policy, we created multiple pathways to identification, because that's where it starts. We have to first identify the students who need our services. And so that means that students can qualify by having 2 95th percentiles on our ability testing, or they can be in the top 5% of their campus, or they can be in the top 5% of certain subpopulations in the district. Then we assign a level of service that matches the level of need, and that's that personalized learning approach. So Core Plus provides extension and enhancement to all 4 core areas of instruction: science, social studies, math, and English language arts. Some students need more. We have pull-out services weekly for them. And this model allows us to prepare students for secondary in a continuum of services and to provide flexibility in how we serve them. And yes, I have the fullest confidence that not only can we implement our new service model for gifted services, but also that we will have a unique opportunity to develop innovative ways to better support our students for their growth.
Awesome. So let's talk about something new for Richardson ISD. I know that you did a lot of work with our principals to support them in thinking about how to develop their elementary class lists. The model is called Total School Cluster Grouping. So the question is, will virtual students be clustered per the Total School Cluster Grouping model, and also will in-person students be clustered that way?
And that's a great question we've been hearing a lot. So we developed actually some extra supports for campus administrators. And once they know who their students are that have chosen virtual and who has chosen in-person, they will be able to use that guiding document to help them think through the process to revisit the configuration of students in each of their teachers' classes. The spirit and intent of the total school cluster grouping model will absolutely be maintained, and we have 3 structures in place for that. The first is that the teachers who teach the high achievement clusters will have the training and support needed to ensure that happens, whether it's virtual or if it's in person. The second is limiting the number of clusters in each class to the extent possible. And again, until we have our numbers, that's just not something we can address very specifically. And also knowing that we are going to provide extension, enhancement, and independent study opportunities for students, whether they have been identified for our services or not, will ensure that students are challenged. This set of strategies potentially could be applied to virtual students too, as those teachers will receive the training and support for their high achieving students. We believe that the supports are in place for students, whether they're in any class, course or setting.
So one of the biggest questions I know that is out there, because this is all so new, is how will gifted services be provided to our students in person and in virtual? So what's really new is this concept of providing services in a virtual setting. Can you go into some of that for our parents?
Absolutely. So what I do want to first say that our new service model could not have come at a better time. It actually allows us the flexibility that would not have been afforded in our previous model. And I do want to share that there have been several districts in the area reach out to us because they are in a strictly pull-out model. They are struggling with how they're going to serve their students appropriately and adequately. So they are really wishing they had a model much more like ours. So let's start with our pull-out students. I want to assure you that they will receive the services, whether they are receiving Core Plus or they're receiving pull-out, they will receive their services regardless of whether they are in person or virtually. And so what's really cool about what happened in the spring is we got a lot more comfortable with our technology. So imagine, excuse me, the virtual teacher would still be an advanced learning teacher. It's still our teacher on our team. So they are familiar with our curriculum and the way that we roll out our curriculum. And they will be able to most likely serve the students on their campus, whether they're in person or virtual. Again, waiting for numbers. But imagine this. The teacher will have the flexibility to have a very special Zoom class just for the virtual students. Or maybe if she only has a couple of virtual students, she'll have them join into the in-person class virtually through Zoom. It's possible if she's on more than one campus or if he is on more than one campus, they can combine those two campuses. Now you have cross-campus collaboration virtually. It's even possible that if I were an advanced learning teacher, I might partner up with a teacher on another campus, and now we combine our virtual students and we co-teach. And so think about all the options that we have there, and imagine the options that we can that may present themselves as we move into this time of innovative learning.
So you talked a little bit about that in your last answer, but we know how important it is for all students to connect, to interact. And so I know some of the questions we've been getting from parents are about how can my GT student, how are my GT students going to be able to interact with other GT students?
Yeah, that's really important for their social emotional learning. So I have a couple of ways that we're going to address that. One way is we are going to work to have opportunities for students who are virtual, who receive gifted services, to come up to their campus, specified times, not for their gifted services, but for additional optional opportunities to interact with each other. So the virtual kids would be able to come together. So this is on top of the fact that we can Zoom them into an in-person class or with each other. And the other is that we are still committed to another layer of our new service model, and that is symposium. That really is where we start working with our students in social emotional learning, and we can provide videos that teachers can use, but also we can provide sessions, most likely provided by Jasmine Patel, who is one of our central advanced learning specialists, and she is one of our most accomplished coaches, so that she can really coach the students through working through some of their intensities. So we have a couple of different options, and of course, as things change and we get new directions based on health recommendations, we can adjust as time goes on.
Oh, I love to hear about all of those ways that we're going to be supporting our GT students. So what about if GT students need more challenge? What are going to be some ways that will ensure that that's something where we are meeting those needs as well?
Well, I've kind of hinted at it, but I'll go into more detail here because it's something else that's super exciting. Core Plus means that we are going to be providing support for our campuses. We'll work with classroom teachers through professional learning communities, through planning, to help them extend and enhance the learning opportunities that our students should be afforded. They are welcome to use these strategies with any student that might be advanced in a unit. It doesn't have to be reserved for students who have qualified for gifted services. But we have, through the spring and under the leadership of Advanced Learning Specialist Sarah Mooney, put together resources. We've curated and we've created levels of inquiry. We've curated activities and strategies that can be used that are highly effective, that we're kind of creating a toolbox, if you will, that the classroom teachers will be able to tap into. We'll be able to go out and work with them on that, as well as we're providing a hub for them where they'll be able to go and just click and learn more about different strategies. So they'll have it for themselves, plus we're going to provide the support that they need, as well as all of the advanced learning teachers and some secondary GT teachers have now completed 4 of 6 days of depth and complexity trainer training, because they're going to be certified trainers. And depth and complexity is truly, if I could just have one thing in every classroom, it would be these icons and strategies. So we are very close. We're going to be rolling all those out and training on those.
So let's talk secondary specific for just a second. So will GT students be able to participate and receive GT services if they enroll in a virtual school? And the second question that we've gotten a lot in terms of our secondary students is, what if a GT course doesn't make? Will they be able to enroll in that GT course once they are able to return, or we are able to return to face-to-face? How will that all work?
Well, I love to give some assurances to parents here. First of all the secondary GT courses will be offered. And whereas until we know the numbers, we don't know which ones will actually make and where. What we know is, because they are virtual, we have options. We can combine campuses. And if that still doesn't have a class make, we can actually cluster the students together, and we will ensure that the teachers have been trained and have the strategies necessary to make sure that that course is rigorous, but also challenging in the way that our students learn. Our goal, our ultimate goal, is when they transition back to in-person learning, that it is seamless and easy.
So let's talk about accelerated instruction. So if a student is receiving accelerated instruction, will this continue in virtual and in-person school?
Absolutely. So the students who are virtual, who are receiving acceleration, will be able to receive it virtually by simply going into the appropriate Zoom class. And I'm happy to say that I've already met with the director of the RISD Virtual School, Dr. Bill Parker, so that he would be aware of this situation. I've made sure that Sarah Mooney, who facilitates a lot of our acceleration and supports it, is working with Dr. Parker as well. We're ensuring that parents, they will eventually be informed about how this is going to work. And what I want to say is, this is one of those opportunities that is being afforded to us because of the challenging times we're in. So I want you to imagine that 6th grade student who is taking pre-AP 7th grade math. They would have to normally get on a bus and go to another campus to receive their services. But because of what we're doing now, we can tap into that. And that's why we're working with Dr. Parker to make sure that happens, because they can now receive their services virtually, even if they are going in person.
I am so glad and so proud of just the decision to move to this new model. I think this is going to serve us so well. So such praise for you and all of our parents and team members who worked on that together. So let's talk for a second about testing. Will there be testing for gifted this year? And if so, how would someone participate in that if they are in all virtual school?
So that's a great question, and I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you this: we will be having testing somehow, some way. We're going to start with our referral window in elementary. Secondary has a referral window 2 times a year. We will still have those open. Then that will afford us the flexibility to schedule the testing when we're able to. If we're able to have in-person students, and we really hope we will, then we will be testing them on their campus as always. If it's a virtual student, we will work with health services and with the campus and with the district leadership to make sure we're following whatever protocols need to be in place. And we will have to have those students come up to the campus, and we will be able to test them there. We will work with campuses as well as parents on making sure that that is as stress-free as possible. Normally, I do want to add this. We normally test the littles in kinder through 2nd would be in December, and then we would do makeups in 3 through 5 would be in January. But we're going to have to reevaluate our calendar based on any changes that have had to be made or that will be made moving into the next couple of months.
Well, thank you. As we're finishing up today, I want to say, first of all, Monica, that my confidence is even higher than it was before, if that's possible, because of your leadership and the amazing team members that you have. So as we finish up this video, if you could give just a few messages of assurance to our GT students and our GT parents about the 2020-21 school year, what would that be as we are starting to really ramp up our plans to start school on August 19th?
Okay. Okay, so I have two assurances and one request. So the first assurance is that gifted services will happen, and I believe they will happen well. I believe they will be provided with fidelity, and that they are going to be of the highest quality. I have no doubt. We used our time in the spring to work on our pullout model, and we worked on it through the lens of this could go virtual. So we were really thinking ahead. The second is that campuses are committed to the success of all their students. They have welcomed our support, the trainings we have brought in for total school cluster grouping. They are so supportive of it, and they are open to how they're going to revisit how they do their classes and to be flexible with that. And they are looking for the guidance and then using it. And so they are set up for absolute success. So the request I have is this. If I don't know, I can't help. I say that all the time. Please, if you have a question, a concern, an idea, please reach out to me or someone on my team, especially here at Central. We want to hear from you. And if we hear from you, we can work with you. I know sometimes parents are so sweet. They feel like, oh, I don't want to call and bother. You're not. That's what we're here for. And I can't emphasize that enough. We want to hear from you.
Well, thank you, Monica, and thank you to your team. Parents, do know that we are here for you. Our goal is to meet the needs of every single one of our 39,000 students, and certainly that includes our amazing students served by our gifted program. So we just want to close out this video by giving you the assurance that we've got this, RASD, and we can't wait to meet you and see you and to serve you beginning on August 19th. Thank you, Monica, and all of your team. Thank you for this time to give assurance to our parents. We've got this.
Thank you. We've got this.